Welcome, foolish mortals, to the Haunted Mansion. I am your ghost hostess for the evening, IndieAnnieJones, and today we'll be crafting inspirations from Disney's Haunted Mansion. I hope you'll join me. There's nothing to be afraid of. They're all very friendly ghosts. Besides, I'll introduce you to two of my ghoul friends as we continue on our journey. So, let's get started and let's get spooky. I'm so happy to be part of this vintage Halloween playlist with my ghoul friends Monica of Up All Night DIY, Dawn of Shabby Meets Bling, and yours truly. We came together to share some new ideas and some old favorites celebrating vintage Halloween. I hope you're inspired. So let's get started. Since the movie is coming out this year, I thought, well, what's better for Halloween than a haunted mansion? So, inspired by the haunted mansion, I took this painting or this drawing from the haunted mansion. This is the girl walking the tightrope that appears in the lobby as you're waiting to enter the ride. Now, there's my little kudu. She is going to help me make sure that I put everything in the right order when I put it all together. And all I did was print this out in color so that I can follow the pattern and the color scheme as I create this stained glass. And what I'm using is the door of a grandfather clock that I found on the side of the road that was totally demolished. My first step is to outline everything with a permanent marker. Get a Sharpie, get a permanent marker, and create your stained glass. Now, in my defense, I have never done anything this big as far as stained glass is concerned. I did use some plaid products and I used some products that I made on my own as well. I'm not gonna lie, this was time consuming, but I think it was well worth it. Now, here you'll see that I am using the gallery glass simulated liquid leading. What I did was put it in a smaller bottle just to have more control, and these are little metal tipped bottles. They had these metal nozzles. I got them at Hobby Lobby and it was so helpful. Not only that, but my little hands couldn't squeeze the big bottle. It was just too much. But look at how much fun. I don't know why I had just so much fun doing this. One of the techniques I used was to be able to clean off the gallery glass liquid lead was to use a small brush with a little bit of nail polish remover. That was so easy just to clean up any mistakes that I made. And it also helped so much to have everything outlined already in the Sharpie because that really helped. Now it looks like it's like a double image because obviously you're seeing it from a different angle of when I outlined everything. But here you can see that I'm using the gallery glass to flood in those areas. Usually I think you should use maybe like a stick or, needle or something, but I just used a brush and I really didn't have any problems with brush strokes. I have to admit that I didn't use gallery glass for all of the areas. I had to create my own concoction. And at first I started with some clear Elmer's glue, but later I found that it was easier to use Mod Podge, and I used gloss Mod Podge, either my plaid apple barrel or folk art paint. And yes, if you're asking why is she mentioning plaid so much, I am once again a plaid ambassador. They had quieted down their plaid ambassador program, but now I'm back in it and ready to go. So using the plaid products of either Mod Podge or their paints, I was able to match the design that was originally created. I'm making her little lips. I tried to really work on the design of her face. I wanted to show that she was, forlorn or sad as she appears. She's not scared. It's incredible. It's not scary. So that's why I think that the stories of, that she was a trapeze artist that walked her way across the swamp to the beautiful mansion would make a lot of sense. However, she must have misstepped because she's no longer with us. So here I am just, oh goodness, look at Luna. I had to cover up my work as I was going along because of this very reason. Oh my goodness, there was a couple of times where she actually stepped in the paint, but we'll let that go. Now here, look how much fun I had filling in all of these teeth. I don't know why. I enjoyed making these crocodile teeth, and I think I actually made more than what was in the original design to make it even more spooky and scary. Now, this character goes by two names, Daisy de la Cruz or Sally Slater, who was eaten by an alligator. But Daisy de la Cruz apparently was a trapeze artist that would use the trapeze to get across the swamp to the mansion. And she must have been very skilled because she doesn't seem scared, but she must have misstepped because now she's a ghost. Have you been to the Haunted Mansion? If not, it's a lot of fun. It's spooky, but not too spooky. Again, here I'm using the paint and Mod Podge technique to make my stained glass effect. Why not just use plain paint, you must ask me. Go ahead, ask me. I'll tell you why. Because if you just use plain paint, it's just you're painting the glass. There isn't any kind of stained glass effect to it. However, if you add Mod Podge, because it dries clear, it adds that extra kind of level of paint that you wouldn't just have if you just painted it alone. And because I used the glossy Mod Podge, it also added another level of dimension. It becomes like a dimensional paint. That's exactly what it is. And what's cool with using paint and the Mod Podge process is that you can mix and match your paints. As I did there on the leaves, I added different types of colors and shades to actually shade the stained glass. You don't want it to be all just one color. It adds a little touch more. I like this. It was a lot of work. I don't know where I'm hanging this now, but I can tell you I'm very proud and I'm very glad that I spent the time to create this beautiful decor item. Not just for Halloween, I can have it hanging in my house all year long as part of the Haunted Mansion. Let's visit with our next ghost hostess, Madame Leota herself. Oh my goodness, look at that. I always thought that was the coolest effect in the Haunted Mansion. So here I'm using some plaid paints and I'm going to be using this wonderful little head from Dollar Tree that it's a Barbie head. But let me tell you, she has a lovely face, beautiful eyes. Her hair could, we'll work on the hair. So let's get started by giving her a very spooky looking complexion. I have to tell you that all the memories I ever had of being a 6 and 7-year-old with those big Barbie heads came right back at me. And I had so much fun because this time I could just do whatever I wanted. Did you ever put magic marker on your Barbie head? Come on, you know you did. And you put hairspray on that hair and you cut that hair and you had fun with that Barbie head. But yeah, none of those Barbie heads ever survived looking the same way they were when we first bought them. So here I am just creating that spooky ooky complexion. She looks a little pale, but that's the point because I think she's just a severed head in a globe, but it's very cool. Once again, I'm going to use my Sharpies. This is a fine tip Sharpie and I'm doing very curious looking eyebrows. And it's so curious that my curious little Luna is watching over me as I create this wonderful, iconic character from the Haunted Mansion. In the first version of the movie, it was Jennifer Tilly played Madame Leota, and I loved it. Now, here's a great tip. You got some makeup around the house? Use that for shading and not just to paint, but use some makeup to do the shading and the lips, the eyeshadow, everything. And I think it just gives it such a lovely effect. I also used some shading to, some highlighter to give it that like ghostly look. You can see the highlighter there. It really looks ghostly. Back to the plaid paint, I'm using this shimmer like iridescent paint that is in blue, and I just watered it down a little bit and giving her a complete makeover. And now what I did was I dunked her hair in Mod Podge with water and the paint to get it to stick up like this. I also used, oh goodness, cat recess, cat break. We need a cat break. We need a meow meow cat break. A meow and a meow. All right, enough with the cats. Now let's finish the base in which we're going to put our globe. So this was just one of those little gift boxes that you get at the Dollar Tree. I couldn't find one, so I just used one that I had already used for another project. No biggie. I'm okay with it if you're okay with it. At the for the top of it, I first of all, the bottom of the head, I painted black so it would give more of that floating head effect. Then I had this wonderful cork light, and I think I got that from the Dollar Tree a while back. And that beautiful globe I got from Hobby Lobby, not Dollar Tree, because the Dollar Tree ones were too small. And I made a little light hole so I could put the light bulb through it, and I'm able to open the box and close it so I can turn it on and off. And there you have it. Just glue the globe and you're done. Let me welcome you into the lobby of the Haunted Mansion. And if you've ever been there, it's a very memorable effect that they do as they expose how these wonderful people in these paintings met their demise. So I took a shoebox, took it apart, and I'm using Mod Podge, and the way I'm using this is I'm putting the Mod Podge on first, letting it dry, then reactivating it with the heat of this tiny little iron. And I think this is the most effective way of eliminating any kind of wrinkles. I'm doing the very same thing with that beautiful painting of Daisy de la Cruz. Next, using coffee stirrers and stain gel, I am just staining these little coffee stirrers to make them a richer color so that I can put them as trim around the frame of this painting and also on the walls themselves. I needed to create a kind of division between the top and bottom of the walls, as you would see in a mansion, and there you can see it. Now I have to create a pocket so that my painting will fall into it and come out of it like it does in the Disney ride. So to create this, I'm just adding some extra pieces from the shoebox itself. I mean, let's use it. It's there. And as you can see, I'm going to create like a raised pocket. And you won't be able to tell the difference because when I close the other walls, there you go, you're not going to see the opening on the sides. So that is how I create that pocket. Now I'm just going to create the flooring of that little mansion lobby, and we're almost ready to go.
Goblins and ghoulies from last Halloween, awaken the spirits with your tambourine.
Thank you once again to my sweet ghoul friends for asking me to join this wonderful playlist. And remember to check out the rest of the playlist for not only their new ideas, but some of their fun vintage Halloween ideas from the past. Thank you for joining me on this journey, and I hope you come back for more. So please like, share, and subscribe. And remember to stay safe, be kind. God bless each and every one of you, and live the adventure. And I'll see you again very soon for more spooky good fun.